So, quick question for you, by the
Mhm.
way. What got you into wrestling? Like, do you remember, do you have your first memory of wrestling?
I do actually. I like how this has been flipped. That's one of the questions I was going to be asking you. So I
Oh,
guess I'll
okay.
go first and
Sorry.
then you answer. But so the first time I saw wrestling, I wasn't into it. Because it was I was visiting my grandmother in the nursing home, and I don't know, I was like 10, maybe 11, and when you're starting to be like a smug little asshole, that's about that age. And she had WCW playing, and I just remember Disco Inferno. It was a Disco
Oh
Inferno match that I
my
saw.
God.
And I was just like, what is this? Like this, it was like all of the bad things that I thought about wrestling all rolled into one Disco Inferno. And I was like, yeah, no, this is garbage. So a few months later, a friend of mine, because he used to call people and watch things with them like on the phone. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if people do that now, or kids do that now.
Well,
Probably not.
now they have the watch party. Now
Oh,
they
that's
have the
true.
thing where, yeah, you can like put it on Amazon and watch on video, and you guys get to see each other's reaction.
Yes, yes. Back in the 90s, we didn't have that. Uh so
Get off the. I want to use the internet. Get off the phone. You know that kind of nonsense. Good
y-
times.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We didn't have the internet yet.
We were an early adopter in my household, but my
I'm not
God, like
shocked.
the rudimentary concept of internet was ugh.
Yeah,
So yeah, you weren't missing out on much.
no. So my friend asked me if I wanted to tune in to make fun of wrestling, and I was like, sure. And I'll never forget tuning in. It was Big Show, Shane McMahon, Triple H, and Stephanie in the ring. And I had said to my friend, like, who is that? Like, who's the girl? And she goes, I think that's one of Godfather's hoes. And I was like, she's not really dressed like a hoe. I don't, because that was not Stephanie's vibe at that
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know what it was. Like it was during a promo, and that's what hooked me. And then later that night, China and separately the Hardy Boys came out, and I was hooked,
God.
like
Oh my
right into
God.
my veins. Like
Well,
yeah,
you've been a fan of the Hardiest since like forever.
day one ish.
Uh, yes, honestly, it, since the original Hardy Boy days, then Mad Hardy V1 and then all that good stuff. They're unfortunately in a little bit of a rougher spot nowadays. But
Yeah,
let's not let that.
Rebby Hardy's picking up the slack.
Oh my goodness, that woman I feel is somebody that needs to be a little bit more judicious with her tweets sometimes because my goodness, it feels like she'll go off on somebody and you're like, oh, just I get it. You're very passionate right now. Just dial it back a little bit. You're just digging a hole deeper for everybody, including yourself. So I get a little bit like nervous for her because I'm thinking like, oh boy, somebody might be like reaching out to you and say that was a bad idea for you to do that at some point.
Yeah, I love how much she doesn't
She really does not.
know.
She just but it's awesome. Like she's very passionate about her family and
Mhm.
Matt, and she will defend them to the death. And more power to her for doing so. I'm just so worried sometimes because I don't want her to get herself like blacklisted or something where they're just like, all right, well, she's just now dug herself so deep we're not going to talk to her. Like we're not even going to bother with her. You know what I mean?
I mean, she's
Because
been told that before, but
yeah, I mean, yeah,
nothing.
she just does not care,
Nope.
man. She just does not care. But hey, good for her. You
Yeah.
know. Now
Uh,
Jeff Hardy needs somebody like that in his life, like just straighten his ass out. My
mm-hmm.
God,
Well, you know how Matt Hardy stopped using drugs, right? You know that story?
no, I don't actually. I don't think I do.
Rebby Hardy called the cops on him. Like she was like, "We're done with this," and she called the police. And he said that
Wow,
was the moment that he was like, "Okay, I'm done."
wow,
Like he
huh?
attributes that to being the moment he was like, "I was pissed, obviously, but that's what made me go get help."
I mean, sometimes when it comes to things like that, particularly if it's like drug use or even sometimes it's when it comes to like mental health of any kind, sometimes an intervention that you have no control over actually is the wake up call that you need to get
Hmm.
yourself straight, you know? Sometimes people don't get the help they need because they think they don't have a problem. So I'm sure in a weird way, maybe not so weird, but in a weird way, he was very appreciative of what she did, you know. But at the time, obviously,
Not so much. Yeah.
not so much, not so much.
Yeah.
So
But
anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to do tangential Hardy Boys discussion,
I
but
mean, I will always jump down the Hardy Boys rabbit hole. Like, doesn't matter what I'm doing. I have time to
the
talk.
Hardy Boys lore. They're going to put out a tome soon enough from like WWE or AEW or whatever, and say like, learn all about the Hardy Boys history. It's a leather bound book.
Yeah, they do have a book out. I read it forever ago. But that they wrote, I'm sure with the help of a ghostwriter. Um, but yeah, that's probably 15 years old at least. Long time ago. But so what got you into wrestling?
Uh, Mine was I don't know if I would say less eventful, but slightly less memorable, I suppose. But I had a friend of mine, Mitch, at the time. I'm still friends with him, but I not nearly as close as I was. I used to hang out with him all the time, like every day. And he used to be really into wrestling. And that was in my video game era, somewhere around the same age that you had mentioned, um, around like, the 11, 12 ish. And what ended up happening was they, he pointed out that they had video games related to wrestling. And he would put it on a lot of the time in the background, and I would like watch with him because he's my friend. I would just wanted to check it out and see what it was like. And then he got one of the games one time, and I can't remember which one it might have. I think it might have been, at least the one I remember the most is SmackDown. It was just called SmackDown. It was like a PS1 game,
Okay.
and they had creator wrestlers and everything, and you can be like have the storylines and play as like tag teams to have this meteoric rise and everything. And then the thing was, wanted to attach more and more of the names I was seeing in the wrestling on this game to what I would see on TV. So I wanted to get this connection, and ever since then, I have watched wrestling. It's just been like the weird little like I remember I was obsessed with Too Cool. That was
Oh
my tag
yeah.
team. Too Cool was like I thought their antics were the funniest, goofiest thing in the world. I remember like one of my favorite memories is the outfits they used to wear. Remember the full white outfit with the black squiggles all over, and then Scotty Tuhati used to wear the bucket hats that had his hair sticking
Hmm.
out of the top and everything. I loved it. I thought that was the coolest, dumbest thing. And actually, I find myself in general I love wrestlers like that. I love wrestlers that are unabashedly dumb but also very talented.
Hmm.
Uh, I would say that the modern day classic example of that is Orange Cassidy, who is one of my favorite wrestlers right now.
Same.
I like the fact that the man has not worn out the shtick of the lazy wrestler at all to me is a marvel.